The afterlife, I just don't know. All that time, I just don't know. The afterlife, I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the end of the world with Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and today we are rounding out our series on the afterlife for now. It will return. There are more afterlives for us to delve into.
For us to live.
For us to live vicariously through study and learning. And we're talking about the Aztecs this week, a relatively new area for me. I did a bunch of research on a bunch of
Brand
different...
new for me too. So if you were wondering, I'm not actually an expert in this one either.
Well,
so.
I'm certainly no expert on the Aztecs. I have studied them a bit over the years, but I had to refresh myself with several helpful websites and other resources this week, which was enjoyable. And we'll give an overview of their quite unique vision of the afterlife. But before we do that, we're going to go back into some more of one of the most beloved features of the show. Michael's...
Of the Afterlife series. We don't do this every time, really.
Right, we only do this in the after... Isn't that interesting? We only do this in the Afterlife series. I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, because I think the hypothetical questions themselves are so compelling that it would be a sort of overload to have to deal with them every week.
Right, we'd have to say the hypotheticals with Michael and Stu would be the new title of the show. All right, so you've got another one. Last week's one, amazing response from our audience. Lots of
I
debate.
got a lot of feedback that I was right, by the way.
I did too. Yeah, a lot of people.
You take 80 years. You take the 80 years and the great meal, or as my friend put it, a moment of true joy every day.
Well, I think you're way overemphasizing the meal aspect, and a lot of people point out to me that living 180 years would be a recipe for total insanity. And
that's true. It was 160.
Well, whatever it was. They were like, by 130, everyone you know's dead. Everyone, so I was kind of like, all right, yeah. I also got a lot of metaphysical. There's a lot of metaphysical objections to the whole premise. Also,
that's the thing. This is also about our listeners maybe trying to expand their minds about what a hypothetical could even be. Michael's hypothetical hypotheticals maybe is a better way of looking at it.
I like it. And I'm all for it. So let's hear what you got.
I actually have two. I have two. But I think the first one will be very quick. So I just want to...
Sure, go.
Because this is one that I have actually discussed with friends of mine years and years ago. But it came to me because one of your friends actually suggested that what might drive you the most insane would be a hypothetical question of my type about the Beatles, that you wouldn't be able to stand it and perhaps the episode would just shut down. So it's not quite that, but it did bring to mind what my friends and I used to call the Robert Plant question.
Okay.
It's a very simple one, I think.
We've talked about Zepp on the pod before. I think even in an Afterlife episode, I think this came up.
So we'll ask it in a couple of ways. It's a little trickier with you because you do have a background in music. So we're going to start by you answering the question that I'm about to ask about me.
Okay.
I believe you have heard me sing before. Yes?
Not extensively, but
like enough to know that I don't have a singing voice, right? Right?
Yeah, you're not Liam Gallagher. I'm not.
Exactly.
He's not worried. You're not coming for him.
So here's the question. Okay. And again, you got to expand your mind a little bit. In this hypothetical scenario, okay, I am in Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
Okay, for the entire duration of Led Zeppelin. Okay. I am serving in the role of Robert Plant.
Got it. Okay?
I am able to deliver any lyric that Plant wrote, any contribution to any song Robert Plant created.
Sure.
I did. In terms of the vibes of the band, they're identical. Okay. I can party, but I look like I'm me. I'm not Robert Plant, Okay?
Got it.
The only difference is it is me dressed up in the same outfits that Robert Plant would wear, singing all the songs,
but with your voice,
with my voice. No, and there would be no like ability, right, to sort of dial it back. It would and be better just because, right? I would probably.
But does that mean you have to sing the same notes that Plant sang? Like, even if your range doesn't extend to that? Because that doesn't really make any sense.
It would sound, the point is, it would sound like me singing. So, like, for example, we use Stairway to Heaven.
Sure.
Okay. The question is, if everything else is the same, all of these amazing moments,
I got it.
by every member of the band, total album sales, what would be your guess? So just to give some,
all right. Well, here's
reference before you
before you say anything more. They
have sold 200 to 300 million records worldwide.
Sure, one of the most popular bands of all time.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
There's a school of thought. I don't necessarily subscribe to this, but I know many who do. That Robert Plant is, in fact, by far the worst part of Led Zeppelin. And that if you put a more subdued, less annoying singer, the band would actually be more popular. Now, the Michael Terry is that singer aspect of it gives me pause. But...
Okay, so
Well...
Like, let's say you turn on the album and you hear would you buy that album?
Well, I mean, again, the metaphysics of this are complicated because the scenario in which you are in Led Zeppelin means that like Jimmy and John Paul and John Bonham are into you being in Led Zeppelin. So
one would assume the vibes are good.
Right. So there's something you're bringing to the table.
The music, every song and every lyric is the exact same.
Right. Well, I mean, that makes no sense.
They don't make different music.
That makes no sense. But
no, but
do you even care about J.R.R. Tolkien, Michael?
You're like lifting my voice.
So you're ripping off the exact same. You're ripping off the exact same African American artists that Robert Plant and et al. did. Right. The same like Blind Lemon Jefferson or whatever.
200 to 300 million records sold. I'm there for the whole run. But
the whole run wouldn't occur if the first record bombs.
But if every album came out,
this doesn't make sense.
Every single song ever got created.
This just doesn't make sense epistemologically.
This is the thing. We always have this argument. It's a hypothetical. It doesn't have to make sense. You just have to say, do you think anybody would be buying the albums?
Absolutely. All of those yes, they would.
Like would I sell 1 million records as the front man of Led Zeppelin, do you think?
I think you would sell 100 million.
You think I would sell 100 million out, and they sold 200?
Like again, I don't necessarily think Robert Plant is like the big selling point for Led Zeppelin.
Well, yeah. Like I don't think
that's not that bad. I've heard much worse.
I think, like, I tend to go with somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 copies.
That's insane. With Jimmy Page and John Bonham in the band.
And
if they
Michael
were
Terry,
hold on. If they're an instrumental band, you think
they're not though.
But you think
it's my voice for the whole album.
All right, this is infuriating. We've got to stop.
I knew it. We did it.
It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
It does make sense.
No, it doesn't, because the other albums wouldn't exist if the first album bombed. They would have fired you.
Yes, that's the leap of imagination you have to make. The idea is that
but that's a leap into a world that doesn't make sense. That the logic of which album, so they're like, okay, our last record sold 300 copies. We're renting a mansion to record Led Zeppelin 4.
You're thinking about it too literally. It's just the album gets to the record store. Does it sell? That's all.
Yes.
No, I don't think so. Okay. We have our next one. Now that you're nice and percolating, you're gonna hate this.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So angry.
I think this might be easier, but that was mission accomplished. I forget
Marge,
which friend.
get my gun.
Okay, so you die
Okay.
and discover there is indeed an afterlife. While not precisely the same as many of the details and minutiae offered by a Christian heaven, some of the frameworks are similar enough for you to recognize them. One of the big ones is there is a process of judgment after which you will end up either in heaven, hell, or purgatory. However, once you get involved, a few twists start to appear.
Okay.
For example, you learn that if you ever played golf, you would go to hell. Non-negotiable.
R.I.P. me.
You might think to
I
yourself,
played golf
"That's a
exactly
lot."
once.
Once you're in hell. Now it's explained to you, for example, that golf courses are thought of as a net negative to the maintenance of life on the planet. It sounds like it could make sense once they explain why, like, sorry, you're complicit in this thing. You must go to hell. Okay. Harsh, but you can sort of trace the
So there
thing.
is a logical metaphysics for this explanation.
This one. However, obviously, you know a lot of people who play golf. Some of whom you may even believe to be good people on the whole. But you hear these little rumblings, these little rules, and I didn't make up a whole list, but imagine a number of those. And conversely, too, some things that seem a little morally wrong just suddenly you're learning there are passes to heaven.
Okay.
So now you're starting to think about the different people in history or in your life and where they would end up. And it doesn't quite seem fair. It doesn't match up with sort of your sense of morality. Never mind the Christian sense. We're talking about your sense of morality primarily. There's weird ones. So some are morally harsh, some are morally soft, or maybe there's just weird ones like you get into heaven if you've seen every single episode of Survivor. And it's like, that doesn't seem fair, you know? But it's real. Like,
but it's not an if and only if. Like, there are other paths. There
are like there are sort of trump cards. Like, well, no matter what you did, if you watched every single episode of Survivor, you're in. Okay, so it's hodgepodge. It's unfair. It's a bit confusing.
I've never seen a single episode of Survivor, by the way.
Right. So, and you played golf, so you're in real trouble.
I'm
right?
doomed.
Now, suddenly you're given an option. Either. Just to be clear, you are, forget about your actual like real golf situation.
Sure.
Okay. Talking about a generalized situation like this, you are told that you're likely heading to purgatory, but there's still a small chance for heaven, small chance for hell. They describe you as a very tough case.
And in this case, purgatory is forever.
Yeah.
Which is not how purgatory works, but never mind.
But again, there are people going to heaven who you really don't think should be, that it's quite clear they shouldn't be, and vice versa. And all
like
that.
Genghis Khan or whoever is just like,
well,
right.
Exactly.
He ate so much. If you eat enough horse meat, you're just in automatically.
It turns out like Donald Rumsfeld watched every episode of Survivor.
But he died before it finished. I mean,
well, let's say it was up until his time of death.
Okay. Interesting.
So here's the option, right? You're going to hate this so much. Okay. You can shut the whole afterlife off. Okay. And along with your own consciousness and soul that you know now does carry on, you can shut it all off.
Okay.
Along with every other one.
Everyone who's ever lived and died.
Who is in the afterlife. All heaven people, all hell people, all purgatory, the lot.
Got it.
Okay? So obviously that would mean some people who didn't deserve heaven finally get some sort of comeuppance. People who didn't deserve hell finally get saved, etc. But in doing this, in making this choice, you also shut the whole afterlife off for everyone who dies after you.
Got it.
Meaning that none of these people will ever come to know that there was an afterlife. The question is, would you shut this off, or would you let people discover this for themselves?
I mean, no, I would let them discover it for themselves.
Even though, let's say...
But I don't know where I'm going yet.
No, but never mind about you.
But it's looking bad. It's
looking like purgatory would be brutal, one would assume, right?
I don't know.
Leaving yourself aside for a second, what we do know is that there are people that you know that are going to be condemned, maybe even randomly, to an eternity of suffering if you don't shut it off. Likewise, people who do not deserve paradise or even purgatory are going to get it by virtue of you carrying the experiment on. But you can end that.
And is this a choice everyone who dies has?
No, you are the special one.
I'm the elect.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm not gonna shut it off for everyone else. That seems cruel.
But it would save the people who are being condemned unfairly.
Yeah, but I mean, it would also damn the people that are deserving of reward.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's right.
You'd
be comfortable with that.
That's the trade-off. That seems fine. That seems fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the one who's holding up this unjust system.
Here's the last question.
The last twist. Okay.
The last twist. Whatever choice you make, everyone who ever died and everyone who ever will die knows who you are and knows the decision that you made. Would you still do the same thing?
Sure. I mean, what agency do they have? Can they like harm me?
Come in. I haven't really thought that far ahead, but they certainly.
It seems like a big question, right?
Well, it seems like a pretty. You're saying it's kind of a selfless act to keep it going, to allow people to discover this and carry on. But what I'm saying is that they would at least know what you decided. So if they were condemned to hell unfairly, and they just wanted this all to stop, they would know that was possible, except for one Stu Watson.
Right, but I mean, I don't like the idea of consequences here is kind of meaningless. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, it's just about your own sense of self.
So who cares?
You wouldn't care.
No, I mean, whatever's going to happen to me is going to happen to me. I think the more interesting question is, what if I'm in heaven and then all the happy people are like, hell yeah, dude, thanks.
Yeah, but the point is, to me at least, that like you basically are arguing that you would condemn people who do not deserve condemnation so that they could at least find out that there was an afterlife. You think that's important enough?
I think you're too fixated on the people who are condemned and not enough on the people who are lifted up by arbitrary means.
But
the whole system seems unfair and arbitrary. So it's like, some guy could have shut this all down and we'd all cease to exist.
No, you'd still exist. You just die. There wouldn't be an afterlife. So you'd live the way that you're probably anticipating that you will and really live.
Wait, right? But hold on. I'm alive when I make this decision? What are you talking about?
No. But everybody else would live a normal life still. They just wouldn't be an afterlife after.
Oh, but they'd all know that I had ended the afterlife? All the people alive?
That's the follow-up, yes. What would your decision be different if you knew that?
No, I mean, I don't care. At least I'd be famous as the guy who like did or didn't end the afterlife. Like,
I think I would shut it off probably.
Well, we should be so lucky as to have this choice. Yeah, that one's a little vexing to me because again, you need to like the world building is a little. I think the
world building is quite clear, but I'm
not feeling the consequences for my eternal soul of everyone in hell or purgatory or wherever knowing. Are they going to like come up and throw rocks at me and like hurt me?
No, it's just about how you feel. It's not about whether. Well,
I've got eternity. I've got eternity to exist in either misery or happiness. I'm sure I'll get around to imagining that would feel like.
You would know that you kept it going, and so when you see all these people being condemned unfairly, for example.
But if I'm in hell, can I see the people that are being condemned unfairly?
Well, let's say you can.
All right, we gotta let this go. This has gone far too long. This one I find vexing, because I think
the Robert Plant one. You think I would sell 100 million copies?
Sure, because I think your self-hatred is like too powerful a motivator in your disbelief in your ability.
What about a way worse singer than me? Then, same question. I like that you kind of didn't hate my voice though. I'll say that one.
All right, let's leave it. We got to leave it aside. We got to get to the Aztecs because I think you're going to, speaking of things, I think you're going to hate the Aztec vision of the afterlife. So Michael, are you familiar with the Aztecs?
Yeah, no.
That's just revenge for your, Michael, tell us everything you know about the, so Aztecs probably the most famous of the empires of the Americas, along with the Incas, right? Not to be overlooked, the Incas, right? also quite noteworthy. Problem with the Incas, though, is they didn't have writing, so their cultural practices are more dependent upon oral traditions that are passed down after the empire has already been extinguished, etc. The Aztecs, on the other hand, left a complex system of writing, some of which survives from pre-contact times. Our knowledge of them otherwise comes primarily from Spanish missionaries who worked to preserve Aztec lore, often in concert with people who are familiar with it in writing. So we have a pretty comprehensive idea of what their philosophical and mythological tradition looked like prior to their conquest by the Spanish in the 1519 to 1521 period. Interestingly, they were a relatively recent empire in world historical terms when the Spanish arrived. They'd only been around as a powerful empire since 1427, so less than 100 years before Cortez arrives in 1519. And their people, prior to being this powerful empire, only arrived in the Mexica Valley in the 1300s. So where they came from is a bit of a mystery, but basically they had risen by 1427 to be the dominant power in the southern Mexican, central Mexican.
How much territory?
A lot. Their empire stretched from the Atlantic to the Pacific, all the way across Mexico, and as far south as Guatemala. So, now it wasn't an empire in the sense of the Roman Empire. In other words, there wasn't a centralized army that roamed around enforcing Aztec rule. It was more of a series of confederations, marriage alliances, trade alliances, things like this.
Like a Pax Azteca?
Yeah, something like that, where they were, not so much, because not all these allies were that happy about this. I mean, the Romans did this too. The Romans had client kings in Numidia and other parts of the empire. In Armenia, frequently it's part of the empire, but it has its own king who, they just, as long as they pay their taxes, send their troops to the levees, whatever, it's good. There was a 3-city-state alliance. Tenochtitlan, modern Mexico City, is the primary stage of Aztec cultural dominance. And one of the problems was not all of the other cities in this alliance, including some of the more subordinated ones, were super happy with this, which is something that Cortez realized very quickly on arrival. He was like, oh, these guys are the bosses, but all these other guys kind of hate
their boss.
Yeah. And so he used that against Montezuma and his forces. And then, of course, betrayed the people he'd allied with, classic Game of Thrones, colonialism, monstrosity, etc. So they have what I read was termed a monistic pantheism, which is to say they believe there was a kind of supreme deity, Omiatotl. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these words, so forgive me.
I can help you.
From whom all things stemmed. But they also believed in pantheism means there's a god in everything. We've talked about this before. The Greeks had a variety of form of pantheism. So there's a central god, but there are many other lesser gods, including a kind of pantheon of gods. And then everything in the world would have some kind of god associated with it.
Was it similar in the way that there's the god of water, there's the god of trees?
There's the god of water, and then there's the god of this specific body of water, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
That the Greeks had something similar.
Trickle down.
Well, it's pantheism, right? Everything has everything is part of a god, but also manifests as a specific god.
I see.
So one of the most famous and controversial aspects of Aztec religion is human sacrifice. Where do you stand on human sacrifice, Michael? Pro or con?
Well, it depends on whether they're being condemned unfairly to hell. I'm kidding. Generally, I'm anti.
Yeah, me too. But
I mean, maybe that's hypothetical for next time.
yes. Basically, the people that were sacrificed were done so in a highly ritualized manner. And they were usually captured warriors, so enemy warriors who've been captured in battle. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and they were kept for up to a year, sometimes longer, and prepared for the sacrifice. So if they were being sacrificed to a particular god, they would be like dressed up like the god. They would learn like ritual dances and things. So
wow. I really know nothing. But I have to say, at first blush here,
yeah,
it just feels like it's a human sacrifice to the gods, right?
right.
It just seems a little, what's the word? Like, I don't know, a little underwhelming that it's not one of their own people.
Well, eventually we'll talk about the Carthaginians who did sacrifice their own.
You know what I'm saying?
The children of the richest members of society were the people that were sacrificed.
Right. For it to be a sacrifice, don't you have to like care about the thing you're giving up?
Well, here's the thing though. You have to understand what they believe the reward of the sacrificee was. Mm-hmm. And it was something positive. These people were not being condemned. They were being sent to join the sun. They were just being sent to merge with the sun, which is one of the afterlife outcomes we'll discuss in a second. But the scale of the human sacrifice is kind of unbelievable. So, and this is hypothesized, and we're not sure on the exact numbers, but over 4 days in 1487, at the dedication of the Great Pyramid of the Sun in Tenochtitlan, between 10,000 and 84,000 people were sacrificed.
What?
Yeah.
In 4 days?
Yeah.
And we're pretty confident that low number...
10,000, yeah.
Is a reasonable
but maybe 84,000. I don't know exactly how the archaeologists have determined this or like what the records say, but it's a level of human sacrifice on a massive scale that I think in part testifies to the fact that prior to European contact, this was an enormous population of people. Like there were,
and they seem to be very proficient at taking prisoners.
Well, there were tens of millions of people living in the Americas and in Central America in particular. And yes, they had captured a lot of people in their various wars. They were very successful. They were extremely powerful empire, not unlike the Roman Empire in many ways. But that's an enormous scale, right? I was shocked to learn the scale of this.
Yeah, now, still time for a long weekend? That's totally crazy.
What's that? 4 days, yeah.
Yeah.
And it took 5 priests. They were prepared for over a year. The higher the status of the warrior, the higher the god they were sacrificed to, the higher the prestige the sacrifice. They were performed by a team of 5 priests. And the way they were sacrificed is they would literally...
How many priests did they have?
A lot. And they would...
5 per person over 4 days? These guys it's like the pit in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, literally, the way the sacrifice was done, they would cut the heart out.
No.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, and then the heart was like a way of liberating the spirit, and then they would...
Season 3.
Just Langdon is like carving it. In any case, that's kind of amazing, right? Now, we don't fully understand why this was done. It seems horrifying, but they believed this granted those warriors a kind of immortality.
And what did it do for the empire? Was the idea it protected it?
Well, it pleased the gods, yeah. Oh, yeah. It protected the empire. This practice ended very quickly after the Spanish conquest. First of all, the Spanish outlawed it. But also, belief in the Aztec gods declined when they were so quickly conquered by the Spanish, particularly the militaristic gods. Does that make sense?
Well, that makes sense, I guess. I mean, that's really... Well, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, if we're not winning, then this probably is.
I think so. Yeah. It is kind of interesting, though, right?
Yeah. Like you're talking about within half a century?
Oh, yeah. Century? Oh, yeah. Oh, way before that. I mean, some aspects of the practice of religious practices, but the human sacrifice ended very quickly. I mean, the Spanish were also just.
What about the belief in these other in the militaristic gods that just crumbled?
Yeah, that crumbled quickest because it had been disproven.
Sure, no clothes.
Well, that guy didn't help us at all. Like, we're not doing anything more for him, like that kind of thing.
84,000 hearts, my man.
Yeah, I mean, and that was, a mere less than 30, a little bit more than 30 years before the arrival of the Spanish. So,
okay,
didn't work. What about this afterlife? So, this one's a little different because how you die has the biggest impact on where you go. Regardless of whether you're a good person or bad person or mediocre person or a great person. Just
kind of into this. That's a twist.
The manner of your death is what determines your place. Now, the vast majority of people, particularly the worst way to die, old age. If you die of old age and
wow.
Yeah, bad news.
Can you imagine if that was the case in our society? Wouldn't that just be nuts?
Well,
that's a really transformative thing, right? Like if you were trying to not be old?
Yeah. Well, it's not.
Or is it not that you're trying to, it's just like this is your fate kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, well, let's go through it. So the way it's described is there are several mansions of the dead, essentially.
I like it.
And the way that you die determines which mansion you go to. The main one is called Mictlan, which is the place of darkness. It's a realm with 9 levels that must be traversed by the dead over 4 years. So you get there, you have to go through these 9 levels over 4 years. You're aided by Zlorol, a guide for the dead with the head of a dog. He is the icon for this week's episode. Yep. His main job was to actually protect the sun from the realms of the dead. But as a side gig, he also helps escort the souls of the dead through these challenges.
We had a dog last week.
There's a lot of dogs. Yeah, Cerberus, right? There's also Anubis in Egypt.
There might really be, like, what are the chances?
Well, I mean, the dog is the closest animal to people, though.
So you just think it's like a literary thing? Just a literary coincidence, basically?
I mean, no, I think it's a cultural. Like, the dog is one of the oldest domesticated animals that's lived with humans the longest, way longer than cats, way longer than horses.
But that's not the reason for the Greek guy, Cerberus. Right?
Well, it kind of is. He's a guard dog. That's what the first domesticated dogs are.
Right. Interesting.
I mean, I think you can make a case that it's because of the dog's centrality to human, the human experience.
Right. Like man's best friend, I guess.
Absolutely. So
let me ask you another question, though.
Yeah.
When you're doing this 4-year journey.
Well, we'll get into the details in a little bit.
Is it your body or are you in soul energy?
You have a body that is based on your earthly body.
Got it.
They practiced cremation, so you don't literally have your body. But
right, it recreates it.
Yeah, and it can get hurt, let's just say. Let's just say horrible stuff can happen to it. So before we get to the first mansion is the one for children who die. Okay, particularly babies. And
tell me they're treated well.
Yeah, it's called Chihuahua Cuacucho. I apologize. I'm butchering all these words. Something like that. It's a very long word. And it's called the Mansion of Dead Children, and there's a giant tree that drips milk for the children to suckle at.
Okay. And they're not subjected to this journey.
No. They just stay there forever as children until they dissipate or whatever happens over time. I don't think they ever grow up, but they're just there. Mm-hmm. Now, the second one is Mictlan, which is the one we've talked about. This is the most elaborate. There's a lot of steps, and it's not good. So it's the realm of darkness. Almost everyone goes here when you die. If you die in a normal way, especially if you're peaceful, old age, most accidents, most diseases, this is where you're ending up. And the first of you have all these, I've written down all these steps. I don't know if they're precisely 9, but a dog features in this as well. Now, the first thing you have to do is to cross this gigantic river. In order to get across, you need the aid of your family dog, which has been specifically raised and cremated with you for this purpose. So it's like Smithers with Mr. Burns in the grave or whatever. It comes to your help and helps you to swim. It's like a big dog. It pulls you across this horrifying, rushing torrent. Okay. And you then have to go through a fearful mountain pass where the whole time it seems like the 2 mountains on either side are going to topple over on and kill you.
Like a bad dream moment.
This whole thing has the characteristics of a bad dream. I would say that's very correct. Then you have to go through 8 mountains that are covered in perpetual snow. And keep in mind, all of these are taking months, weeks.
And you really are feeling
You're feeling it. You're not happy. You're not feeling good. I don't know if you feel hunger, but you feel pain and you feel cold, right? And the winds in these mountains, the 8 mountains, are so cold that they're said to feel like obsidian blades cutting you as you pass.
Are you allowed to give up, or are you compelled to?
I think you're compelled forward. And like, I don't think there's an alternative. Like, you then reach an enormous hill, but you have to walk over
through the mountains.
We've been through the mountains, and then there's an even bigger hill. But before the hill, there's endless moors, just foothills, rolling, kind of undulating, north of England type situation. Myra Hindley, outside Manchester. Oh, Manchester, so much to answer for, as Morrissey so wisely reminds us. Anyway, you find this long path, and as you're walking up this hill now, you are shot repeatedly by arrows fired by invisible people. Yeah, and you just got to take it Saint Sebastian style. You're just like, that's another one. Oh, it's through my neck. Right? Brutally painful. Meanwhile, you finally reach an area that is filled with thousands of vicious beasts.
Sure, why not?
And if a beast approaches you, you're required to bare your chest to them so that they can eat your heart.
So were you coming this way? Is that for me? Okay, let me just grab you my heart.
Wait, do you want him or is it me?
Yeah.
It's also unclear if you do this alone or if there's other people with you. Some of the details are lost or were not available in the sources I looked at. So I don't know if your heart grows back for a second beast to come, but you don't die. You keep going. You're already dead, right?
Yeah.
After this, you reach a black body of water that you can't see anything in, that you know to be inhabited by a gigantic lizard. And you have to swim across it while you're assaulted from all sides by smaller lizards, and maybe the big lizard lashes you here and there. It's just a miserable, and remember, this is all taking over 4 years. So you may be 3 years into the journey here. You're
down 1 heart.
Maybe 4 hearts. I mean,
yeah, maybe. And your feet, my God, can you imagine?
After this, you must wade through 9 rivers in the darkness of a realm in which the sun never rises. It has never risen. All of Mictlan lies under the earth, too. This is all in a sort of hellish environment. Finally, exhausted and brutalized, you reach Mictlan Tetchuli, who is the skeleton king of the dead. So you meet him, and, it's not going to be, I mean, you like him to give you like a little wreath or what do they give you? An idol in the, I've never watched Survivor. What is it like you get if you win? Like you
get the immunity idol if you win the challenge.
That's right.
And usually it's like they wrap it around your neck.
Yeah. Or like a garland on your head or something. No.
It's just a ribbon for your house,
Instead, he receives you
They don't give away participation trophies in
Aztec Afterlife. No. No, they don't. As much as we might wish they do. No, in fact, you are received with vengeance.
Oh, good. Just with vengeance.
And I assume that means he like beats you further and just hates you and heaps scorn upon you.
Okay, it's like a final boss.
It's taken you 4 years to get to this. Yep. After this, your body is your journey is over, but you just kind of rot and you decompose into nothingness, and that's it, basically.
That's it.
There's no reward. Yeah.
This is fascinating to me because
these are the people that just died randomly. They're not
just regularly.
It's not like hell. This is just sorry.
Yeah. This is really fascinating because I think it makes sense in some ways to me. So the first question I have is, obviously the people who experienced this, who believed this, right? They're in the position like to use the example like us, like we're living in sort of like a Western Christian situation that like if we see the basic framework of a Christian heaven, we will be prepared if not petrified, right?
Sure.
They know when they die that they're going to be on like a 4-year journey that looks like this, right?
That's right.
And see, the reason I find it kind of interesting is that like, and maybe this is not what they intended at all. So I'm not
sure.
There's something about like whoever's in charge of the afterlife being like, wow, you guys like really didn't appreciate how amazing the miracle of life is.
Uh-huh.
And so even if you did or you did not, like the trade-off is you then are now going to do this. Like you're welcome almost.
So you're like looking back on your life as this is happening, feeling like, well,
yeah,
this sucks, but
it's the afterlife being people, the gods or whatever.
Didn't know how good I had it kind of thing.
Yeah. Or even like, this is the balance, you know, we got like the balance of the cosmos. It's like, okay, like not to be too, you know, banal, but it's like that, like the heavenly part you just had for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. So you're
22 years. Remember? I mean,
right. But like, it's fascinating to me that then that's it. It's not like, and then you move on, you know, it's like you already came from the place that is closer to the like paradise. This is reminding you just how good that was.
But Michael, what if I told you there were at least 2 more houses, mansions of the afterlife?
But not for these people. These people are just like,
the people who died normally, the vast majority of people go to Mictlan, they go through this journey, and then that's it.
That's it. Okay.
I mean, they're lingering around as kind of shadow beings, but there's no pleasure, there's no pain. It's just kind of dissipation.
You're involved, sort of.
You're present. I don't know if it's unclear if you can interact with other people or, you know.
Okay.
All right. The third mansion is the place of the warriors, the kingdom of the sun. The place those sacrifice victims went to. And this is a place where anyone slain in battle or a woman who died in childbirth would also go to this place. So this is childbirth was considered, you know, part like a woman's version of war for the Aztec, apparently. So
like a moment of unquestioned courage.
That's right. You're doing something great for the empire, for the people.
Yeah.
And it's outside of time.
Ooh, love a good outside of time.
Oh, me too. And it's in the sun. So you're in the sun. That's cool. Okay. There's a resplendent plain. Every day you hear the sounds of battle. And
like those stuff.
Every time the sun rises, you're reminded of your own heroism, essentially. Has a little bit in common with Norse Valhalla, which we discussed in our episode about Ragnarok some months ago. After 4 years here in this place, also 4 years, interesting. It's like a presidential administration. Is
this where they came up with the idea for the Olympics being every 4 years?
No, that's Greek, right?
Oh, okay.
The Greeks did that in 776 BC, right?
I'm joking.
Oh. You keep getting me with these 2 earnest questions. You got me with one last time, too. You're like, wow, it's weird because his name is Tantalus. And that,
I just know that if the answer is Greece, you'll be sure to point it out in that exact tone.
Oh, God damn it. I'm so owned. Anyway, after 4 years, you transform into a beautiful bird creature, and you eat flowers forever in peace in the sun.
You fly or you just sit there eating?
It says you're a feather creature. I don't really know if you can actually fly. This reminds me a little bit.
I like the idea that you just get plump with feathers and you're just eating.
Yeah, you're just like, I think of it being more of like an emu or an ostrich kind of situation.
Sure.
I don't know for sure though. So this reminds me a little bit of the Gilgamesh Mesopotamian vision, where you transform into these dark feathered things, which is also kind of similar to Mictlan, although without all the journeying, right? Like it's just a kind of
without all the hubbaloo.
Hullabaloo, yeah.
Hullabaloo. What did I say?
Hubbabaloo, which is not a real thing.
Dyslexia coming out.
But you know, the Greeks believed in hubbabaloo, so it's actually where our concept of hubbub comes. Now I'm just kidding. Humbaba was the cedar forest guardian. All right. Now the best afterlife, however, that wasn't even the
Better
best.
than that.
Yeah, this is the one that the Catholic missionaries thought was the equivalent of heavenly paradise.
Okay.
This is reserved for anyone who dies by drowning or by being struck by lightning or any death related to flooding, rain, or water.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if
but
you
not on purpose.
It doesn't say.
So if I could get you to drown me,
or you drown yourself, presumably, right? Like,
well, yeah, I was going to ask about suicide, but in a case where,
well, we don't have any. There's no indication that the morality of your life has an impact on any of this. Now, I could be. We could just not know. If we time traveled and asked a real Aztec priest in 1487, while he's on break from cutting out hearts, you know, maybe he would tell us, oh my God, no, if you suicide, this is an even worse place you've never even heard of. You know, we don't know for sure. Again,
you're not getting into the fourth mansion. I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life. What was your name again? Stu?
So, this is the realm of Talak, the god of sprouting things. He's the agricultural god. And makes sense he'd be associated with rain, with water, as that is seen as the primeval source of crops, you know. So the dead here in this realm would be happy. They could eat. They could have fruits, all the delicious fruits that your heart desires, all the wonderful drinks. And you're in the. And
do they remember the trauma of their death, or is that what?
I don't know. It's I don't have info on that. But if it's a paradise,
these Aztec folks here, they understand the value of a great meal. See that? It's their highest form of paradise. Just saying.
All right. So those are I read also that there are more specific niche realms for people that died in more weird
different ways.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't have any good examples, but like maybe if you died like tripping and falling off a path, you find yourself in another mansion or something. You know what I mean? If you die playing the Mesoamerican ball game, like maybe
or singing immigrant song at Wembley.
You were killed by an angry fan who's in one of those scenarios with that Ed Sheeran movie where he remembers the real Robert Plant.
Robert Plant, who still can't believe he lost out on the audition.
Well, he'd still have Band of Joy or whatever his pre-zep was. So what do you think of this? You know, all these.
I love it. I think it's my favorite so far.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't mind the random. I mean, it's fitting you brought up your utterly deranged hypothetical that has this element of randomness, because that's kind of what's at play here.
I think so.
It's
too.
like, Ted Bundy like slipped and drowned on a yachting trip after he killed those 30 women, and now he's in eternal paradise. What if you could snap your fingers, Michael, and just bring this all to an end? End the injustice. Get Bundy back into the neither world where he belongs.
Or just hope that he gets a really bad niche mansion, you know? It's not, I think I might be liking more what is probably just my own misinterpretation, but there's something about there's something about the idea that most people who die, who just live like a normal life, that it's not about whether it's fair or unfair, or you did something or you didn't do something, but this is sort of the cost of admission. You just happen to pay it after, because how would we get you to pay it up front? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not that it would give me comfort if this is what happens to us.
You're like, oh, I'm dead. Fuck. Now I have 4 years of misery and then I just rot.
Right.
But during that 4 years, you probably have a lot of time to think back, and
a lot of time to think back on all that time wasted watching every episode of Survivor, just in case, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen every episode of Star Trek, so that's
so much crazier. There's way more episodes of that.
Are there?
I'm sure.
But there's like 50 seasons, 100 seasons of Survivor.
There's 50. We're on season 50 right now. I'm currently watching.
How many episodes per season?
It used to be more, but I think it's like 12 or 13.
But it used to be like 22 or whatever.
For a run, yeah. But every Star Trek in all the franchises, or are you just talking about
I haven't seen the newer ones, but the classic ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
the reason I was acting as confused is I was thinking about like every variant of Star Trek.
I've seen all the variants up until, when Enterprise ended. It's quite a lot of Star Trek, I will admit. And I've also I've seen most of them more than once. So
you think so, but you still don't think that there's more episodes overall of Star Trek than Survivor?
I mean, there's like 150 of the two longest ones. And then the other ones are all shorter. I have 3 longest. So there's probably like 1,000 episodes, maybe. There's probably 1,000 episodes of Survivor, right?
Yeah, it's probably closer than I'm giving credit for, but I would still say all Star Trek.
Probably a little bit more variation in Star Trek than Survivor, too.
Survivor is known for its lack of variation, especially from Probst, but that's a whole nother episode. And in fact, I would really, really bastardize the show with what they're doing with all these idols and rules and exile islands, and the early days when you really had to survive a little bit.
The purity, yeah,
there was something very simple.
There was something very Mictlan coded about it back in those days.
I think we will definitely be covering the first season of Survivor at some point. I have some thoughts on apocalyptic thinking and reality television that I think eventually will make it into an episode. And
I look forward to that day. But until then,
today is not that day.
That's right. That's right. So that's it for the Afterlife for now. We'll probably come back with some more in a couple months. We may do some more niche ones, like another movie about the Afterlife, kind of like we started off with. Maybe talk about some cult visions of the Afterlife. That's something we've tossed around, right?
And I might sort of throw in a few more hypotheticals if we're lucky.
If we should be so lucky, you get to see my hair just stand on end. You'll see the smoke pouring out of my ears, knocking my headphones
But it's
off.
funny, isn't it, how I managed to make sort of the same type of stupid hypothetical that doesn't quite make sense every time?
I like it. No, it forces me to torture myself in new...
These are all from my aging, weary brain, so you have to take them for what they're worth.
Well, and I'm, in fact, 2 years older than you are, so imagine how I feel. All right, so we'll be back to the end of the world next week. I've also, should mention, have set up a separate feed that's just the Afterlife episodes. So if you ever want to binge our whole Afterlife series, you can look for A Brief History of the Afterlife on the podcatcher of your choice. And that will now be available. Also on the podcatcher of your choice, you can find The End of the World with Michael and Stu. And in addition to that, if you like the show, you can leave us a rating and or a review on that podcatcher. You can also follow us on Instagram at The End of the World WMS. And I think we're going to do back to some news next week on the main show. And I'm looking forward to that. A lot has happened in the world that we've got to recap because some of it is very deranged, as always. But until then, this has been The End of the World with Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and we'll talk to you real soon.